Challenges of building the world's longest railway tunnel. The Gotthard Base Tunnel is the longest railway tunnel in the world and an impressive feat of 21st century Swiss engineering. With a maximum depth of over 2,450 miles and an astonishing length of 57.09 kilometers, the Gotthard Base Tunnel runs under the Swiss Alps, cutting down the time and risk it takes to travel through one of the world's most treacherous mountain ranges. Riding a train that travels at over 250 kilometers per hour, it takes you about 20 minutes to travel from Erstfield to Bodio, which are on opposite sides of the country. The Gotthard Base Tunnel took more than a few years to construct. How long exactly? 17 years. The project started in 1999, cost the Swiss government billions, required 4 contractors, and even cost some of the workers their lives. Yet somehow, the mammoth construction project finished on time and within budget. The Gotthard Tunnel breaks the boundaries of what we think is possible. 28.3 million tons of rocks and soil were transported from underneath one of the largest mountain ranges in the world to accommodate its considerable length. It is truly a one-of-a-kind and the biggest construction project Switzerland has ever taken on. In this video, we'll be looking over some of the challenges this remarkable project faced during construction and new developments that might affect its future. Before the Swiss government carved a tunnel through a mountain chain that spans over 6 countries, the Gotthard Pass was one of the only ways for traders and travelers to transport goods from the northern to the southern part of Europe. The 2,106-meter-high pass has been used since as far back as the 13th century, and control of the access routes led to the birth of the Swiss Confederacy. It took the merchants of the old days to navigate the pass, and snow made the travel particularly treacherous during the winter. It was not until a road was constructed on the pass in 1822 that the travel time dropped down to 1 day per trip. A coach service named the Gotthard Post was responsible for transporting travelers from Como, Italy to Flüelen in Switzerland. In 1882, the Gotthard Railway Tunnel was unveiled, and it cut down travel time between Altdorf and Biasca from days to only a few hours. Electrification of the railway line in 1922 reduced that travel time again as faster, sleeker trains emerged to replace old coal ones. Automobiles of the time alternated between using the old Gotthard Pass and being wholly transported on trains via the Gotthard Railway Tunnel. This continued until the opening of the Gotthard Road Tunnel in 1980. The road provided a more direct route through the mountain region. Since its opening, traffic has increased over tenfold. The road also caused an explosion in cargo transportation. The old Gotthard Serpentine railway system was no place to transport a huge amount of freight, so in 1992, the Swiss people voted on a referendum to dig a new railway tunnel that'll barrel straight through the Alps, providing travelers and traders alike a safe, quick, and direct passage through the mountain with little to no gradient change. Their proposal was part of a greater project called the Alpine Link, which proposed to dig 3 connected railway systems through the mountains. The last of the tunnels, the Sanary Base Tunnel, was completed in 2020. Even from the conceptual phase, the Gotthard Base Tunnel proved to be a Herculean task, but Switzerland was up for the challenge. After all, it was not the first time they've become the record holders of the longest railway tunnel in the world. The original Gotthard Tunnel, spanning 15 kilometers long, was the first time. The second time was the Simplon Tunnel, which measured 19.8 kilometers and was completed in 1905. The GBT, however, was going to be 3 times the Simplon Tunnel and was built to unburden the crowded highways of Switzerland. Over 1 million trucks made their way through the mountain roads of Switzerland, braving complicated twists and bends. While the Gotthard Road Tunnel helped relieve that stress, Switzerland and Europe needed a more permanent solution. It was designed to be the final piece of flat road between the North Sea and the Mediterranean. The GBT was designed to use intramodal freight transportation, where the truck would be first loaded onto the cargo trains before being transported as one unit. The design required 2 tunnels to be constructed, one which carried trains north and another heading south. It took over 5 years and over 115 million Swiss francs to decide on a safe route through the mountains, avoiding the highest mountain areas because of weight issues and rocks too brittle to support the tunnel's weight. Work officially started on the tunnel in 2004 by Alp Transit Gotthard AG. To cut down construction time on the massive tunnel project, they dug access tunnels into 4 sites to work on the tunnel simultaneously: Erstfield, Amsteg, Sedrun, and Fado. A 5th was added at Bodio later on. What would have taken them well over 30 years took only 17. The 2 tunnels of the GBT were connected through galleries every 325 miles. Trains could move between lanes at the Sedrun and Fado stations, which also served as storage for ventilation equipment and as emergency stop evacuation routes. Access to the Sedrun digging site came via a 1-kilometer-long access tunnel from the valley floor. At the end of the tunnel lay 2 vertical 800-meter shafts that led down to the railway tunnel level. Excavating the planned route through the mountain was a lengthy and laborious process. The tunnel measured between 8.83 meters and 9.58 meters in diameter. With several heron-necked gripper tunnel boring machines originating in Germany, they dug through over 73 different types of rocks, ranging from hard granite to rocks as soft as sugar. This caused their progress to vary considerably. On good days, they could cover up to 30 meters, while on slow days, they barely made any progress. The crew used 4 TBM or tunnel boring machines in total during the project. S210 and S211 worked northbound from Bodio to Fado, while S229 and S230 dug southward from Erstfield to Sedrun. Each TBM was 440 meters long and weighed 3,000 tons. At their maximum performance, these absolute monsters consumed enough energy to power 500,000 residential homes in one day. Over 4 million cubic meters of concrete were used to apply the concrete lining to the tunnel, repurposing a portion of the 28.3 million tons of rocks dug up during construction. To put it in perspective, that amount of concrete can be used to construct 84 Empire State Buildings and the Yusufeli Dam, the tallest dam in Turkey. Over 3,200 kilometers of copper pipes were used to line the interior of the tunnel. The 5 different sections of the tunnel were worked on by 4 different companies, coordinating between themselves to get the project finished on time. The Erstfield section of the tunnel, which ran from Erstfield to Amsteg, was completed in 2009. The tunnel spanned over 7.7 kilometers long. ARGE-AGN received the contract for the section of Amsteg to the north of Sedrun, which was completed in 2010 with a tunnel of over 11.3 kilometers. Sedrun's tunnel was a bit different. Spaced into 2 sections, the east tube is about 8.6 kilometers in length, and the west tube is 5.4 kilometers. The work was carried out by Transco. Fado's 13.4-kilometer east tube and 13.6-kilometer west tube were constructed by Consorzio TAT. And the final stretch of the GBT, which is 15.9 kilometers long, was also finished by Consorzio TAT. The final breakthrough of the east tube of the GBT was carried out on live television on October 15, 2010. The final breakthrough for the west tube happened half a year later on March 23, 2011. From that time until 2013, safety checks were carried through all 57 kilometers of the GBT. Until finally, on August 20, 2013, a diesel train traveled through the tunnel for the first time. The trip took 6 hours. In December 2013, the operational test phase started for a 13.1-kilometer stretch of the west tube between Fado and Bodio. The test stress focused on the infrastructure and ancillary systems. In October 2014, the finished track installation on the GBT, and in October 2014, the first test on the entire length of the tunnel was performed after receiving permission from the Federal Office of Transport. On November 8th, a test train reached a maximum speed of 275 kilometers per hour. 9 people died over the 17-year construction period of the GBT. 4 Germans, 3 Italians, 1 Australian, and 1 South African. A day before the inauguration of the tunnel, they were honored with a ceremony at the north portal of Erstfield. A bronze memorial plaque with their names on top was unveiled, and a Catholic shrine to St. Barbara, the patron saint of miners, was constructed in their honor. On the day of the inauguration, the then president of the Confederation, Johann Schneider-Ammann, declared the GBT a giant leap for Switzerland, but equally for our neighbors and the rest of the continent. The GBT has performed remarkably well since it was unveiled in 2016. Taking 2/3 of cargo and 1/3 of passengers, the tunnel sees over 200 trains a day. It has cut the travel time between Erstfield to Bodio down to 20 minutes and shortened the travel time between Milan and New Zealand by 35 minutes. The GBT continued to serve unimpeded up until recently when a catastrophic accident forced its closure. On August 10, 2023, a freight train of 30 wagons traveling the northbound tunnel of the GBT derailed near the multifunctional station of Fado. The accident, which has been blamed on a broken wheel, caused a pileup so severe the tunnel had to be shut down to assess and repair damages. 16 wagons were so severely damaged they needed to be disassembled before the removal process could begin. The east tube of the tunnel has been reopened to passengers and freight trains and is available for over 100 trains per day, while extensive repairs are still ongoing. Other train traffic has been rerouted to other tunnels. Experts expect that repairs to the tunnel will extend well into 2024, and it might take even longer than that before the $12.5 billion tunnel is at full capacity again. In its relatively short lifespan, the Gotthard-based tunnel has proved itself as an invaluable facilitator of commerce, engineering, and transportation, benefiting Switzerland and Europe in ways that are difficult to fully calculate. It has faced and triumphed over numerous challenges and setbacks over the years, and its recent break in operation will prove to be nothing but a minor setback in its considerable history of excellence. So, what do you think about this modern marvel of Swiss engineering? Tell us in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this from us. Until next time, have a lovely day.